I'm president of Lorain County Chamber of Commerce. It is my honor to welcome all of our Lorain County Chamber members, our Elyria Rotary and Elyria Sunrise Rotary members, government officials, residents, and guests to the annual Elyria Mayor's Address, both in person, and we are going live on Facebook, YouTube, and the City of Elyria's website. So Mayor Frank gets the award for the first time we have been so virtual at either a city or a chamber event. So I think that deserves a good round of applause. The annual State of the City Address provides a unique opportunity for the public to hear from Elyria Mayor Frank Whitfield and his staff about the growth and future of Elyria. The County Chamber is grateful to work with our local Rotary clubs and the Mayor's office to make this happen every year. I do want to introduce a few of our elected officials that are in the audience today. From the Lieutenant Governor's Office, Lou Cook; Ohio Attorney General's Office, Lindsay Carr; State Rep Gail Manning. I know she may have had to leave already to get to Columbus. Lorain County Commissioners Matt Lundy and Michelle Hung. We also have Lorain County Auditor Craig Snodgrass here. Welcome to our local county and city officials and department heads and judges. Welcome also to our local educators, including LCCC President Dr. Marcia Ballinger, Elyria City Schools Superintendent Ann Schloss, and JVS Superintendent Dr. Glenn Faircloth. Congratulations to Ann, the newest difference makers. You well deserved. The County Chamber kicked off the year with our annual meeting in January with a goal to innovate, recover, and advance all of Lorain County. We continue to work with all the organizations and institutions focused on moving Lorain County forward, and we're excited to work with everyone in the coming months with the new Economic Development Initiative. Two quick announcements from my economic development partners from the Lorain County Growth Partnership. On March 23rd and 24th, we will be hosting virtual roundtables for Lorain County to discuss where are the workers. We helped the Fund for Our Economic Future with their survey as they surveyed our local employers to understand the worker challenges here in Lorain County specifically. These roundtables will provide a voice and hopefully some discussion for the answers that we will need in order to help all of the local businesses looking to fill these open job positions. And then on March 31st, the Lorain County Growth Partnership will be hosting an economic forum with nationally recognized economist Ned Hill, who will provide us with an economic outlook with a focus on workforce and talent development. We will also be working with Lorain County Community College and Dr. Marcia Ballinger to kick off National Community College Month. With that, because we've got a very, very busy schedule here, it is my pleasure to introduce Amanda Deary, President of the Elyria Rotary Club.
Welcome and good afternoon. Thank you for joining the Lorain County Chamber of Commerce and the Elyria Rotary Club this afternoon. Thank you to President Gallo for introducing me, and to you and your team at the Chamber for once again organizing this event. Once again, my name is Amanda Deary, and I serve as the Law Director for the City of Elyria. Today, however, I am thrilled to be here before you as the current President of the Elyria Rotary Club. Our club has collaborated with the Chamber for many years to produce the state of the city, and we are so happy to be able to be back together in person. And at this time, I would request that you please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. It is a tradition at Rotary that we offer a non-denominational invocation at our gatherings. And today, I'm honored to recite an invocation prepared by our club's invocation chair, Deborah Warden, who unfortunately was unable to be with us this afternoon. Dear Almighty, we pray this day for our city. Bless our leaders with wisdom and vision. Bless our residents with safe neighborhoods and streets. We ask that you lead us all to set aside our differences and work for the common good. Amen. And at this time, I will turn the program over to the fine tech people here at Lorain County Community College for a video presentation from Mayor Frank Whitfield.
Greetings, Elyria residents and community stakeholders. I'm Mayor Frank Whitfield, and this year we decided on a different format that includes some surprises for you for our State of the City address. As we shift our focus from the pandemic towards recovery, Elyria is uniquely positioned to transform and beat the odds of turning around our legacy city. During this address, you will hear from various leaders in our city, highlighting their accomplishments and challenges in 2021, as well as beginning to cast a light on where we are headed in 2022. Community development is one of those departments that impacts so many aspects of our city. Their primary focus is on managing funds that get distributed to various projects, programs, and services within our city. Community development is also involved in our housing developments and helping with the planning of those housing developments within the city. As you may have heard, we have over 1,000 homes being built in the city of Elyria in this 2-year period. Here to give you more details about the Community Development Department is our fierce leader, Director Ashley Scott. Ashley?
Hi, I'm Ashley Scott, Director of Community Development. The Office of Community Development is responsible for the oversight of various HUD and state programs, as well as local economic development initiatives and design review. Community Development Block Grant funds are allocated to the city through a direct entitlement formula from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. This is based on the city's population as well as the demographics. Elyria generally receives a little over $700,000 annually. In calendar year 2021, the city expended just over $640,000. Funding was provided for the South Park Trail, the Public Library statue, emergency home repairs, code enforcement in target areas, and youth and senior programming through the Elyria Parks and Rec Department. Various nonprofits were also funded to provide public services such as youth programming, employment training, fair housing, and subsistence payments. The United States Congress passed the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act on March 27th of 2020, providing an additional $5 billion for CDBG to aid in the results of COVID-19 on housing and economic impacts. As a result, the City of Elyria received a total of $691,000 in COVID funding. This provided much-needed assistance to nonprofit organizations providing services in an effort to respond to the negative impacts of COVID-19. Community Housing Impact and Preservation Program funding provides funding to local governments for the improvement and provision of affordable housing for low and moderate income citizens. CHIP funds are distributed competitively to cities. Elyria utilizes these funds to rehabilitate homes owned and occupied by low and moderately low income persons to bring their structures completely up to code. The city applied for fiscal year 2019 CHIP funds through the Ohio Development Services Agency and received an award of $250,000 to rehabilitate 9 homes with program and program income funds in 2019 through 2021. The city completed the 9 rehabilitations in accordance with the grant agreement. A total of just over $370,000 was expended over the course of the grant period. The state of Ohio permits communities to receive CHIP funding every 2 years. As a recipient of 2019 funds, the city became eligible to apply for the 2021 program year. Community Development submitted a grant application to the state and received notification in December that Elyria was awarded another $250,000 for rehabilitation and tenant-based rental assistance projects. The city also received an allocation of American Rescue Plan dollars in 2021. This came directly from the United States Treasury to mitigate the impact of COVID-19. The primary objective of the ARP program is to support urgent needs related to COVID-19, replace lost revenues to government in order to support needed public services, to stabilize small businesses and households, and to address systemic public health and economic challenges. As a result of this funding, City Council approved an Essential Services Program and Small Business Assistance Program. Initially, both initiatives were funded $500,000 each. However, due to the local need, both budgets were increased to $1 million. Community Development, in conjunction with the Mayor's Office, provides management and oversight of these two programs. In 2021, we created a policy and procedure manual. This was approved by City Council. The purpose of this manual is to establish program guidelines as well as a roadmap to ensure that federal guidelines are being followed. With that program, funding requests were made available to local nonprofits. A total of 19 applications were received. Community Development, in partnership with the Mayor's Office, reviewed these requests, and we are currently in the process of determining funding amounts for the recipients. The Small Business ARP program received 34 applications for a total request amount of just over $1.4 million. The Elyria Economic Development Committee is currently reviewing these requests. Community Development continues to assist the mayor in carrying out various economic development initiatives for the city. In 2016, the city obtained an impacted city status for the enterprise zone. This status is set to renew in 2022. Under this certification, the city is able to offer incentives to manufacturing and retail businesses. There are 13 active enterprise zone and 7 active community reinvestment area agreements. Further, Community Development assists the Mayor's Office with the Downtown Facade Improvement Program, the Downtown Historic Redevelopment Program, and the Downtown Demolition Grant Program. The Downtown Facade Improvement Program, established in 2019, provides a matching grant of up to $10,000 to businesses in the downtown area for eligible facade improvements. In 2021, 5 businesses were approved for funding, which was about $38,000. The Downtown Historic Rehabilitation Program, established in 2021, provides a matching grant of up to $50,000 to eligible businesses in the downtown area. One business was assisted $50,000 in grant funding in 2021 through this program. The Downtown Demolition Program was established in 2020. This also provides a matching grant of up to $50,000 to businesses in the downtown for eligible demolition projects. And one business was assisted in 2021 for $50,000 for a total demolition project investment level of just over $160,000. So the department also plays an active role in Design Review and Planning Commission. In 2021, staff reviewed a total of 58 sign applications for local businesses. Of these 58, 14 were referred to the Planning Commission. Planning Commission approved all of those applications. In addition to the sign reviews, 48 applications were processed at the staff level for projects other than signs. Of those 48, 13 were referred to and approved by Planning Commission. So let's talk new housing. New housing development is ongoing within the city. There are multiple continuing and new subdivisions. I'll highlight a couple of them. Fieldstone Lake, this is William Thomas Homes. It's at Chestnut Ridge and west of Bender Road. There are 201 new single-family homes proposed in this phase for a total of 436 for the entire subdivision. River Run Landing, that's going to be off of Middle Avenue. There are proposed 109 new single-family homes for this subdivision. We have Four Seasons at Chestnut Ridge. These are Cahovanian. This is at Chestnut Ridge and east of Bender Road. A total of 229 new single-family homes are proposed for the entire subdivision. Pikewood Manor, this is at Midway Boulevard in Pikewood. This is near Lowe's. A total of 132 lots are available for manufactured homes. Bridgewater, which is at West Ridge and Fowl Road. There are a total of 86 new homes proposed for this entire subdivision. Harvest Meadows, this is at Indian Hollow. There are 65 new homes proposed in the first phase for a total of 230 new single-family homes for the entire subdivision. And Oak Tree Place, which is at Abbey Road in South Logan. There are a total of 109 new homes proposed. So 2022 goals for the Community Development Department. So in 2022, the Community Development Department would like to focus on updating the design review guidelines. We also are going to look into doing our downtown slum and blight recertification. We're going to assist with the new comprehensive plan and zoning code update, continue work on our emergency home repair and private owner rehab programs, as well as continue working with the Elyria Community Partnership on affordable housing initiatives. So in conclusion, 2021 we feel was a very successful year with our department and with the City of Elyria. We look forward to 2022 and seeing what we can do together as a community and as the city.
Last year was the beginning of our comeback year, especially for our Parks and Recreation Department. We knew that in 2020, many of us were cooped inside our homes and unable to gather and were itching to get back in action. That's why I worked alongside our City Council to offer our Parks and Rec programs free of charge to all Elyria youth. That included all our programs, including our swimming pools as well. We added staffing and brought back the programs that so many of our residents missed, like our TAPS program for seniors. And we added more programs like adult fitness. We also were able to finish the South Park walking and biking trail and secured a large grant from the state of Ohio to build another one at West Park this year. Here to tell you more about our Parks and Recreation Department is Department Leader Carrie Reardon.
Hello, my name is Carrie Reardon and I am the Parks and Recreation Director here at the City of Elyria. We had a great 2021 as we slowly brought back programming as COVID protocols allowed. We were fortunate that the community responded positively to our offerings, and as the year went on, we were able to offer additional programming. We had a very busy pool season in 2021. Our two seasonal pools are located at East Park and North Park. They were open from June 15th through August 28th. Due to the support of our Parks and Recreation Board, City Council, and our administration team, we were able to offer free swim lessons and open swim this past summer. We had 779 registered participants for our 3 sessions of swim lessons. Another part of our busy summer programming were the 8 camps that we were able to offer this year. We had 7 summer camps and 1 week of basketball camp. Our summer camps catered to 466 registered participants, with 3 of the camps for middle school students and 4 camps that were for elementary age students. Our summer camps included swim days, guest speakers, the Elyria Public Libraries, and food provided by the Elyria School District. We also welcomed back our senior TAP program this year. Our active seniors were ready to get back out there and get moving again. We offered yoga, chair exercise, line dancing, walking, and pickleball. The TAP program also gives our active older adults an opportunity to socialize with each other. Some like to come to walk, exercise, play cards, or just catch up with their friends. There's something for everyone and all abilities to enjoy. Our Access training classes were held from March through July at South Recreation Center. We had 182 registered participants in all of the sessions. This program was offered for all fitness levels with different classes available based on skill and experience. Looking forward to 2022. Planning is well underway and we look forward to adding new programs throughout the year. Some of the new programs or events that we will be offering are movies in the park, open gym, cooking classes, multi-generational events with our teens and seniors, adult basketball leagues, adult fitness classes, for example, cardio, weight training, and line dancing, and dive-in movies at both of the pools. We were so excited to have everybody back in 2021 and we had a great year. We are so looking forward to the new and exciting opportunities in 2022 that we can offer the City of Elyria residents.
Having a safe community is critical to any city being a thriving city. Our Elyria Police Department was able to investigate and solve some major crimes in 2020. I was also fortunate to have the chance to participate in some police training and saw how difficult it is for our police officers on a day-to-day basis dealing with some of the challenges in our community. That is why part of our goal is to partner with our community to come up with innovative ways to create the public safety we all deserve in Elyria. In 2021, we also saw the retiring of our longstanding police chief, Dwayne Whiteley, and we also welcomed our new police chief, William Pelko, who you'll hear from next.
Hello everyone, I'm Bill Pelko, the Chief of Police at the Elyria Police Department. The Elyria Police Department has had promotions this year. Chief Whiteley retired and I have been his replacement. Lieutenant Grooms was promoted to captain, Sergeant Eric Palmer and Sergeant Bill Lance were promoted to lieutenant, Patrol Officer Ben Harris, Eric Grove, Todd Straub, and Detective Mike Mahoney were promoted to sergeant. In 2021, the Elyria Police Department responded to a total of 33,823 calls for service, which generated 4,568 cases and 2,162 arrests. We handled 1,223 traffic crashes and over 1,700 impounded vehicles. The Elyria Police Detective Bureau has officers assigned to the FBI task force and also work hand in hand with the FBI agent who's working out of the Elyria Police Department. 15 individuals were charged federally in collaboration with the FBI. These individuals are usually career criminals and will see a heavier sentence by taking them federally. The Elyria Police Department has a state-of-the-art forensic lab that is used to examine electronic items such as phones, tablets, and computers. 2 detectives are trained to perform these, and we are in the process of training a 3rd officer. This lab is not only used for Elyria Police, but we have also forensically examined devices for other agencies throughout Lorain County. The Elyria Police Department has an unmanned aviation drone unit. 10 officers are FAA certified to fly drones. These drones have been used on several missions over the past year. Neighboring agencies and the fire department have called upon this unit for their expertise as well. In collaboration with the Water Treatment Department, we have recently purchased 2 more of these drones to assist with our investigations. We also updated our workout facility at the police department. The Elyria City Jail was closed down several years ago, and in order to further develop our employee wellness, it was decided to expand and renovate this unused portion of the jail. New equipment was purchased, and we now have a state-of-the-art cardio and strength training facility to keep employees physically fit. The city recently purchased Tip 411, which is an anonymous tip line for the citizens to inform the police of criminal activity. We will be rolling this out to the citizens within the next couple of weeks. We are currently working on obtaining body-worn and in-car cameras for our officers. These will help us to be more accountable and transparent to the public. These will also improve our training and development of officers and should reduce citizen and use of force complaints. The Elyria Police Department is also looking to update our mobile computer terminals. Our current MCTs are outdated and will not be compatible with the body-worn camera software. I want to take this time to thank everybody for all of their support for the police department. I look forward, and the police department and officers look forward to collaborating with the community and making the city of Elyria a better and stronger place to live. Thank you.
What a year for our Elyria Fire Department. Not only were they assisting on the front lines of this pandemic with assisting with emergency medical treatment and also assisting with vaccination clinics, but they also faced some historically dangerous fires, including the largest fire this city has seen in over 70 years with the Uncle Vic's building. I got the chance to see firsthand our firefighters running towards danger, and I commend them and our police department for all the work they do to keep our city safe. Our fire department also welcomed a new chief, Joe Pernesti, who you'll hear from next.
Hi, I'm Joe Pernesti. I'm the city's fire chief. I became the chief in August of 2021, and it goes without saying that 2021 was an incredibly challenging year for our community and our fire department. Overall, the fire department responded to a total of 4,945 calls for service, of which we had about 165 calls were fire related, and of those 165, over 60 were working fires where we had flame, smoke, had to lay hose lines, call in people off duty, and had an actual dollar loss. Unfortunately, of those 68 fires, we had 2 fatalities in the city. And it's something that, again, we're never really able to prepare for or to handle, but our members did a wonderful job. And, you know, again, it's something to just want to reemphasize: smoke detectors save lives, and that make sure you have a working smoke detector. Over 3,000 were for medical emergencies. Now, a lot of people ask, hey, I called 911 for an ambulance. Why did a fire truck show up? Well, quite honestly, it's because of our location and our training. We have firefighter paramedics that are on our apparatus that can get to any location in the city within minutes. Also in 2021, our city had probably one of the largest fires in recent time, the Washington Towers complex in February of 2021. And our crews did a phenomenal job. While we lost that building, we were able to save the block of buildings in the 400 block of Broad Street, which are now being primed for redevelopment. So I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of my firefighters. Also in 2021, the city took delivery of 2 fire apparatus. So I want to thank the administration for that. One of which is behind me here at the Cedar Street Fire Station. Our 2 pieces of apparatus that we took delivery for take the place of 2 units that had high mileage that will go into reserve and will be able to extend their life. So I want to thank the citizens and the administration for that. The other item of note in 2021 was the hiring of 8 full-time firefighters at the end of 2021. It's going to eliminate our members that had to work an incredible amount of overtime to staff our shifts. And also, we're looking forward to hiring 3 more, so a total of 11 total. That again will be an influx of youth and energy, and will again alleviate overtime and the burnout that's associated with our members working so much overtime. Elyria firefighters are always there. They're a proud group, and I'm proud to be the chief, and whenever you need us, we will be there. I'm Joe Pernesti. Thank you.
Economic development is one of our key priorities as an administration, and we've been working to transform our economy through building a city for entrepreneurs, keeping the current businesses in Elyria and helping them grow, investing in our workforce and our residents to prepare them for 21st century jobs, and proactively working to develop sites for companies to build in Elyria. In 2021, we took some of those proactive measures to initiate development at Midway Mall, which we hope to see the fruit of that work in 2022. We also took steps toward making it easier to do business in Elyria through utilizing technology, as well as listening to our business leaders on how we could streamline some of our processes. We also started a community development corporation thanks to a grant from the Nord Family Foundation. One of the areas of focus for that CDC will be on the redevelopment of downtown. To share with you some of the other things happening downtown, as well as other economic development projects, is Dawn Calvert, our Director of Economic Transformation and Business Services.
We are coming out of the second year of the pandemic, and like all communities, we are adjusting to the new normal. While navigating the uncertainty of the past 2 years hasn't been easy for many, we have a lot of reasons to be optimistic about Elyria's future. Income tax revenues were up by $2.7 million in 2021. That's an increase of nearly 9% over 2020. Most employers in the city are reporting a need for workers and have positions offering a livable wage open. Downtown was a big focus for us during 2021. We awarded 7 grants to businesses totaling $140,000 and leveraging nearly $600,000 in building improvements. The new library opened. Elmer's Ice Cream and More completed the renovation of a downtown building and opened for business last summer. It wasn't even a year ago that we experienced a devastating fire downtown. It could have been catastrophic to downtown's progress. But instead, we worked together with a developer to redirect the project, and earlier this year we were able to announce a $35 million investment to renovate the historic Dixon and Robinson buildings into an esports arena and complete brand new construction for a 51-unit multifamily housing complex. This project will attract new investment and completely transform downtown. Manufacturers like Invacare, Crane Aerospace, and VTD Systems invested in facilities and expanded their operations. Combined, these projects brought over $6 million in investment and 60 new jobs to the city during a pandemic. Many other manufacturers experienced growth in 2021 despite supply chain constraints and increased costs. In early 2021, we closed out the Elyria Cares Small Business Grant Program. Funded by the CARES Act, this program allowed us to provide over $500,000 in grants to 24 small businesses to assist with COVID response. So as you can see, we definitely weathered some challenges in 2021, but have lots of reasons to be optimistic about 2022.
In 2021, we were able to start to get back to normal and bring people together through our various events and various entertainment activities. One of those was the Third Thursday, done in partnership with the Elyria Community Partnership, where we were able to have food trucks, live music, and lots of fun right here in our city center. We also were able to host the Apple Festival again and brought hundreds of people downtown to enjoy food and family. In 2021, we also were able to bring back our Community Service Pride Day, where we did multiple projects around town, helping to keep our city beautiful and clean. Thanks to a generous donation by Kinetic by Windstream, we were able to provide computer training for over 200 residents to get them up to speed with digital training as well as devices and helping them connect to broadband internet. We also initiated a roundtable discussion around community violence starting in the spring of last year to try to curb any violence that we thought may happen in our city. And that group has continued to meet on the first Friday of every month at 4 p.m. at South Red. Additionally, we were able to partner with our community to host the Ike Maxwell Appreciation Day downtown Elyria. Finally, we were able to partner with Case Western Reserve University, Kinetic by Windstream, and a host of other community partners, including international partners like DataSwift, to host our first ever hackathon, where we asked our residents to partner with people digitally from around the world and come up with solutions to our most pressing problems. As we turn our attention towards recovery, the city of Elyria has a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to shape the next generation. With over $18 million of American Rescue Plan funds coming directly to Elyria, as well as the ability to compete for state and federal infrastructure funds, we have the opportunity to build a future that our children's children will thank us for. In order to do that, we will continue to engage our residents to get ideas and feedback on our ideas. In 2021, we surveyed our residents and asked them where they wanted to see this once-in-a-lifetime investment go. The top response, seeing investments in downtown and Midway Mall. That was followed by investments in our parks and recreation, which was followed by supporting our small businesses and nonprofits. And we believe we fulfilled those wishes and we will continue to fulfill those wishes. We also heard loud and clear that the city wanted to continue seeing its basic city services and avoiding any layoffs. But even though we are doing this work, we know there is still much more wood to chop. We want to work with our residents to not only tackle the tough challenges like community violence, but also work with families to find more enriching and quality experiences for our young people and our teenagers. That includes working with organizations like Save Our Children to transform the old Oakwood Elementary School into a community center where youth can be working alongside seniors, providing for a unique intergenerational opportunity. We want to continue to invest in our residents' skills and expand into taking advantage of some of these new economic development opportunities happening around Ohio. Ultimately, we want to get back to the focus of why we took on this job. When I started in January 2020, I didn't realize I would be spending the bulk of my time reacting to and managing a global pandemic, but it's what the moment required, and I'm proud of how we responded as a city and ensuring that all had access to food, COVID testing, vaccines, digital training, and ultimately City Hall. I'm also proud of how we continued our basic city services and didn't miss a beat. How we suspended water shutoffs to give families a chance to tap into the available resources to get caught up. But now we are ready to get back to what we came here for, transformation. And the job is far from finished. We hope that you will partner with us and support us in our efforts as we seek to transform Elyria's culture, its economy, and its community.
To introduce the Honorable Mayor Frank Whitfield.
Good afternoon. Wow, I didn't realize that many people. When you're sitting in the front, you don't see all these people in here. How y'all doing? It's good to see y'all. It's been a while since we've been in the same place. We got folks from the hospitals here. Dr. Stark, are we okay having this many people? Are we okay? Okay, we okay having this many people? Good. Well, it's good to see your faces for sure. And as you could see from the video, there's so much hard work that goes into running this city. And I'm just so appreciative of our staff. I would like to ask the City of Elyria staff, if you're here, to please stand up and be recognized, please. Please stand. And so we have something special for one specific department. As you know, the city has a number of different departments who've worked tirelessly through 2021, didn't miss a beat with picking up trash, didn't miss a beat with plowing roads. And so, but there was one department in particular that if you've ever worked with me, you know I can sometimes be difficult. Thank you, Tony. And difficult because I have an expectation of greatness. Difficult because I believe we can do something excellent. Difficult because I don't believe in celebrating mediocrity. And I'm going to try to push this city to be great, push our community to be great, push you all to be great. And sometimes that rubs people the wrong way, but I'm okay with that. But this group in particular, when I've pushed them, they've embraced it at every turn. When we said, hey, we got this load of money coming from the CARES Act, we need to make some adjustments, they were right there saying, all right, I know this is going to be tough, but let's do it. When it came time to come up with some creative, innovative ways to get things done in the community, this group, again, with resistance, but still was willing to roll with it. They embraced it. And so that department I'm referring to is our City of Elyria Community Development Department. And I want to recognize them. I've asked their staff to be here. If you could come up and receive this award for your willingness and ability to innovate and respond to the needs of the City of Elyria. Community Development Department, please come up. Also, in doing the other initiatives, we got one more, so you might as well come right back up. In the other community initiatives, again, as we're exploring these ideas of, again, challenging the way we're doing business, it's often reaffirming when you have a community partner that also believes in that vision. And we reached out to this organization and shared with them, hey, the pandemic is forcing people to go virtual. We have a lot of residents that don't know how to use technology. We need some help standing a program up to equip them not only with the skills, but with the technology they need to be able to survive. You know, as you know, the vaccinations, you even had to register for those online. And we said we want to keep our community engaged during this time as well, and we need some help. And we're proud that Windstream, Kinetic by Windstream, stepped up to the plate, provided a $30,000 donation to the city to provide computer training as well as host our hackathon. So we have an award for them as well. We want to recognize them, but we have a video first that we want to show, and then We have some folks here from Windstream. Oh, okay, that's even better. All right, Doug. Come on up, Doug. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Yep.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Doug Nellis. I'm the Director of Operations for Kinetic by Windstream. And I just want to say it's an honor and a pleasure today to receive this award, and look forward to a partnership continued with the City of Elyria, its residents and businesses. Thank you.
Although I have a previous obligation keeping me from this event, it has been a great privilege to be involved with this partnership, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to share my appreciation. I wanted to say how honored we are to receive the Corporate Community Partner Award in the City of Elyria. It has truly been amazing to see the impact our partnership with the city and the work of the Digital Literacy Program. I've never been part of a hackathon before and was impressed with the creative business solutions presented. As a sponsor, we invested in a program that funded computer training classes for about 500 Elyria residents. You can see the pride and the confidence at the graduation ceremonies. These computer skills truly transformed lives. Along with our sponsorship, Kinetic has invested in our fiber network, which now can provide big broadband to over 20,000 Elyria residents and businesses. We believe in investing in our local communities in which we serve, and it is rewarding to see what that accomplishes. We're very proud of the partnership with the City of Elyria, and I congratulate the mayor for coming up with an innovative and collaborative way to tackle complex issues. He has made digital literacy a priority and developed a unique way to bring people together. We look forward to the continued growth in Elyria and expanded opportunities for Elyria's residents. Again, thank you for this award and for the continued partnership, and you can count on Kinetic.
So, Doug, I'm going to ask you to come receive this Corporate Community Partner Award on behalf of Kinetic by Windstream. So next, as I mentioned before, we're always trying to find ways to keep things engaging and relevant. So the next portion, we're going to have a panel discussion. It's going to be moderated by Tony Gallo, and I'm going to ask my Safety Service Director, Kevin Brubaker, and my Assistant Safety Service Director, Don Calvert, to join me here on stage. We have a couple questions, but we want this to be interactive. As you know me, I'm one that I don't like to put on shows. Somebody said it earlier, this is all family in here. So Jim Miller's already given me a hard time about the building department, so I guess we are truly family in here. So if you got warts that we need to talk about, let's talk about them. Let's get them out on the table. Let's work through it. Because, again, we just want to have a great city for all our residents. So have your questions ready. I know we want to talk about Midway Mall. There's a video after all of this. Most of you will probably be headed towards the door, but we're good on time. After this panel, we have a video that's going to go into more detail about Midway Mall and also downtown. But I'll pass it to Tony.
A lot of moving parts here today, so thank you for your patience on this. We'll get the mayor hooked up here. All right, so like the mayor said, we've got Director of Safety Service, Kevin Brubaker, and Director of Economic Transformation and Business Services, and Assistant Safety Service Director Dawn Calvert. So the first question I will throw out to Director Kevin Brubaker. You've been through 3 different administrations with the city. What differences have you seen from Mayor Whitfield compared to years past?
Jesus, that wasn't how that, yeah, okay. That's an interesting.
Is our
You
HR
don't have to compare mayors, but yeah.
is our HR director here?
Yeah. Jesus.
These are the kind of
Go for
questions
it.
that you get asked, right?
Yeah, thanks. I would say he's the only mayor that I've worked under that had a child while he was in office.
Yeah, she's here too. Oh, she just fell asleep.
she's
Fell
asleep,
asleep. She's at the most important time.
Yep.
I would say that working under 3 different administrations, I worked under Mayor Grace, Mayor Brenda, and now Mayor Whitfield. They all 3 had 3 different unique skill sets. Mayor Grace came in, having government experience, being on city council. Mayor Brenda came in with her experience being on Elyria City School Board, as well as her connections to nonprofits. And then Mayor Whitfield comes in with virtually 0 political experience, any political agenda, but he also had a huge connection because of his work with the Urban League. He had a huge connection with the community at the ground level, and I think that carried over to us as he's the only mayor that had to deal with a pandemic, but it carried over to in early 2020 when we had to make some hard decisions financially in the city. We had to make some hard decisions with employees in the city, and then carry over with trying to manage some financial situations that we were expecting. But he still stayed engaged with the community, as he stated with community development. We turned, much to my chagrin at times, he turned City Hall into this warehouse of food and produce and those types of things. So reaching out to the community and being more engaged in the community was probably one of the biggest differences that I've seen between the 3 administrations.
You want to rebut anything?
That's like a debate. No, I think he's spot on. I think every leader has their moment, and what the issue that they deal with in their time. And I think, some leaders, especially in this environment right now, aren't getting a fair shake at the job that they do. And, when you sit in the seat, you kind of appreciate what people did and didn't do. And, it's given me definitely appreciation, for Mayor Grace. I think, the things that he was able to do in this city during the time he was in office, and just looking back how we've benefited from it. But again, during these climates it's difficult. So I think during this time, again, history will be the judge, of how I led during the pandemic. And again, what I have to focus on is every day just doing the best that I can,
Okay. Dawn, you've been with Mayor Whitfield since the first day in office. What are you most proud of during your time with the city?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. I think if there's a theme to today, I think it would be partnerships. There's nothing we've been able to achieve that hasn't been in partnership between departments, between different branches of government, between community organizations, nonprofits, and the business community. And I think if we take a look back over the last 2+ years from the time we came in to office with Mayor Whitfield, wow, have we accomplished a lot. We're talking about real transformation in the city with downtown and Midway Mall, and then with our business community, and none of that could be done without those partnerships. So I think overcoming the challenges that we had during a pandemic as a new administration to be able to get to where we are today with a lot of optimism and positive impact in the city is my biggest, proudest achievement.
Would you say those partnerships go beyond just the city to the county, to the region?
Oh, it's everywhere. It's at every level, every step along the way.
Right here.
Oh, sorry. I'm not the tech guy, that's the mayor. So I was thinking I was speaking into that. Thank you. So partnerships start right with the mayor when he tells me how to use the tech.
No.
To the state, to the county, to the chamber. It is, particularly in my work with economic development, with the LCCC, it takes a village.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah, and just to build off that, I think when I look at, it's difficult to get things done in government. coming from private sector, working in different capacities where you could just make a decision and go with it. Here, there's so many people you have to get on the same page and understand and educate in order to go down a path. And what I've seen, we've gotten the most traction and momentum is when we're getting things done through partnership, when we're operating. And that was the importance of starting the Elyria CDC, was so that we'd have a vehicle that didn't have to operate with the constraints that the city had and be able to get things done a lot quicker. Do we have anybody from, I saw Mike Griffin here. Mike, can you, and I think there's supposed to be a table here that you can sign up. If those folks in the back, if ECP folks, if you could stand up, because I think it's important for them to see you. And a lot of our bank partners, our community partners, that's going to be a good organization for you to get connected with as we try to get things done in the community. So just definitely want to point your direction there.
That's the Elyria Community Partnership.
Yep.
All right, we'll ask another question to Director Brubaker. Let's talk operations. How do you operate through crisis management? We've recently had a big winter storm come through Elyria. How did Safety Service Department prepare and react?
I think that goes back to the first question. I, again, am fortunate to work under Mayor Graceman and Brenda and now Mayor Whitfield, so I've had the ability, longevity, to work with all the departments in the city. And when the mayor promoted me to Safety Service Director over a year ago, one of the things I told him is I wanted to kind of change how we manage different crises, particularly our snow events. And the recent snow event you're referring to, we are anticipating anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow, and it was going to be a 3-day event. So I got with our department heads, particularly our street department workers, our CMG, and kind of laid out a plan. What is this going to look like? How do we want to advance this? And by having that collaboration with them and the other departments, we were able to put together a plan to where all of our, we do mains. That's the first thing that they do. And I will say this, if it had not been, I told the news media this, had it not been for issue 6 passing in 2016, we wouldn't be able to have the response for snow that we have now, because the equipment we had 6 years ago would not have been able to do what we're able to do now. So kudos to the residents. So we're able to have equipment. But we were able to stage all of our secondary trucks out on our central maintenance complex, so that when it was time to come to do the secondaries that we knew we were going to have to do, the trucks were there, the routes were ready to go, and the employees could jump in the trucks. We also worked with our safety forces. We had I had a truck set up that was specifically set aside for if one of our police officer cruisers or our fire engines or even life care got stuck somewhere. We had a truck ready to respond to either plow them out on a side street or to salt it, and we did actually have that happen. We had one of our life care squads get stuck. Fortunately, they weren't transporting anybody, but we were able to get them unstuck and get to where they needed to go. But crisis management has been an evolution of things that I've learned in my tenure with the city and knowing which departments to go to. And fortunately, we have department heads that work very well together. And I think that started under the previous administration, where they did a lot of collaboration and department head meetings, bringing the department heads together and more working together. So that's kind of, anytime a crisis is coming up that we know about, we're trying to meet and get ahead of it and formulate a plan so that we're ready to go. Does it always work? No, not always, but we do what we can. That particular snowstorm you're talking about, we actually, last year we did secondaries one time. We've done secondaries about 5 times this year, and in that event we did it twice. And we had workers that worked a lot of hours making sure that our streets were set up to be cleared so residents can move along.
Mayor, anything?
No, the only thing I would add is that this whole idea of collaboration and communication has just been it's a value of ours as a city. We've been doing a lot to try to invest in our department leaders. We know that there's a lot of retirements coming down, and we're just trying to prepare the next generation of staff folks to take the helm there. So there's a lot of work to do, and I think that's one of the challenges, because in a role like this, I love the executive side of the work. That's what I'm trained in. That's what I love to do. I love budgeting. I love strategic planning, love the operational side of the work. But in this world, you can't just put your head in City Hall. You have to be out and about in the community as well. And we've tried to make sure we maintain that balance of, there's one thing to just keep the ship running and keep the trains moving on time. And there's another, a bit of the work to make sure there's somewhere for the train to go. And it's not just about having a city to have a city. People want development. People want new, exciting things. It's not just about managing a decline. And I think that's one of the pieces that I'm really trying to push for us as a community to embrace, that we have this unique opportunity with ARPA funds at the county, at the city, that we can do something exceptional right now. And we can, or we could just bury the money and just do what we've been doing and put it into the operations that we're doing and status quo until the show's over, as opposed to let's be innovative, let's be creative. That's why, we're excited about, the project that was announced already with both downtown and Midway Mall. We're really excited about those things. We're excited about Chestnut Common South in particular. There's a lot of, I'm actually missing a meeting right now that we're approving. I hope we approved in the planning commission meeting. Approving for additional development to happen by Panera and KFC. So we're hoping to see more development that way as well. So a lot of good things happening, but it takes partnership and it takes hard work to make it happen.
Kevin, what's the state of potholes? Because I've been here I've worked in Elyria since the Keys administration, and potholes was always a big talk. And is this year better than most?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would say overall they are not any worse, any better, but again, because of issue 6 and the amount of streets that we have been able to resurface, we still have a lot of streets in the city that need a lot of help. And you got to understand that the same folks that plow our streets are the same folks that fill the potholes after they plow our streets. So when they put the patch in, and then 3 days later we get 6 inches of snow, and they plow it, and they're plowing out what they just did, and we've got to change our trucks over. But we run 3 patch trucks pretty much every day throughout the city. We take calls from residents. Our employees call in with streets. It's just a never-ending battle out there. But I would say our street department does
Northeast Ohio.
phenomenal. Yes, it's Northeast Ohio. Does a phenomenal job of keeping up with them.
So when you pass one of those trucks, pull over, give them all the room so they can do all that very safely as well too. One more question for Dawn. What challenges has the economy faced within the past year, and how has this affected the city of Elyria? That's a loaded question.
Wow, I mean, I don't know that we have enough time to go through all of it, but obviously the pandemic and the supply chain disruption that's occurred, that's hit businesses from every single size in every single industry, and then of course the workforce shortage. So I'm so excited, Tony, about your upcoming event. Where did the workers go? Because that's probably the #1 question we field. There's a lot of discussion. I could hire, I talked to a business today who said I could hire 75 people if they were just there. So that is probably the biggest challenge that we have, is just, we have jobs, we're missing the workers.
Yep.
And there's so much opportunity there that we need to really get creative and figure out how to get workers back into the workforce and fill those needs. The supply chain disruption it has been huge. We've talked to businesses all different sizes, all different industries that have some of their inventory stuck at ports all over the world, and just can't get access to it to make things happen. They're having delayed revenues because they just can't get their product out. So that's been a huge challenge. So I would say those 2 things just in the past year have been probably the biggest challenges for businesses in the city.
And just to build off that, the one opportunity that I think we have, in which I want to make sure that we recognize what the folks in Ukraine are dealing with right now, and make sure we're saying our prayers for the folks in Ukraine. And not only is it relevant just because it's right now, to me, one of the most challenging and pressing things we have right now as a democracy is the idea of a democracy, and are we still committed to a democracy? And I think it's important, and I'm sorry to sidebar into this, but I think it's important to mention, is that when we deal with issues within our local, even local government, where there's nepotism, racism, things that undermine our democracy, that creates a dynamic. Misinformation, spreading of misinformation, that creates a dynamic that you see now on a global scale. And I think we need to do our part as citizens, as American citizens, to recommit to democracy, recommit to engagement. I think that's a part of the unique thing about my journey and even being in this seat. was really relying on the people. You know, we didn't go through the traditional political route to get here. We relied on the health of our democracy to get here. And so I say all that to tie it back to the economy, is that America is the home of the refugee. It's the home of the immigrant. And as we're dealing with this work shortage, there's also thousands of people itching to get into America that could help with that work shortage. So I think we need to be embracing and make Elyria a welcoming city for our folks from Ukraine, from Afghanistan, from Yemen, wherever you're at, to be a welcoming community for those folks here in Lorain County.
I think yeah. I think if one thing good that has come out of the pandemic is we've looked in different areas that we haven't looked at before. Whether it's recently incarcerated or recently unincarcerated. I know Janine Donaldson is here somewhere, at least I think she signed up, and I know the Racial Equity Center for Lorain County, I know she made sure to reach out to me to make sure that when we talk about where are the workers, that we definitely give voice and some support to that as well too, and just looking at things differently, like Ryan Aroni is here from the United Way, and Sharon Pearson from Move, and us working with two manufacturers in Lorain County to try and get some workers from Elyria and Lorain to and from their facility that normally wouldn't even have crossed their mind. So
yeah, I'd say the other challenge related to transporting people is and again, I'm going all day about that. One reason, so there's a big part of the program we cut because there's a whole lot going on, good stuff in the city. But the thing you mentioned around transporting people to other communities. So, we have to have a conversation around white flight and the propensity to leave areas where there's minority populations and there's poverty and go toward the suburbs. We have to have that conversation because now there's a new problem of now how do we transport people out of or you could have just built the job here closer to where the people are at. So that's one conversation. The other is there's a new opportunity. I believe the new transportation is your cell phone and broadband internet, and the fact that now remote work is so accessible to folks where you can get a good paying job working from home. And that's one of the reasons why we're really trying to invest in this digital training aspect so that our residents, if we can get 100 residents to work remotely, that's just like bringing a technology company to Elyria. It has the same economic impact to the city without all the build out. Because when it comes to competing on sites, that's one of our challenges, and we're looking for it. We've been working with Jim Miller. I was giving him a hard time earlier, but he's been working with us through the land bank. He's been a good partner to work with to help get sites cleaned up. Sure. Because it's hard to compete when you got this old infrastructure sitting there, and then they have the option of a farm right here where they can just go immediately. So working with the county and the brownfield and demo money, we hope to get some sites cleaned up so that they'll be ready.
I'm a firm believer in the remote workers too. Lisa Hudson and I had conversations with many of the different municipalities when we were talking about the grant program at the beginning of COVID and the shutdown, where a lot of the grants weren't eligible if you worked remotely or you were a home-based business. But that's the future, folks. I think we're going to see a lot more of that, and we need to embrace it and actually encourage it, especially for our local entrepreneurs. So that's all I have question-wise. Do we want to take
we got
one
time
or
for like
from
two questions. If anybody's got anything burning that they wanted us to talk about.
Stand up and we'll make sure you get a microphone.
Got Gary?
Talk about some of the areas that are under renovation.
Hold on. He's going to get the mic.
What's happening with Cleveland Street? Is there anything going on there?
Yeah, well, Cleveland Street, as you know, is we're repaving the road, which is one piece. It needs a road diet. It's too big. It's when you're driving there, it's like playing Mario Kart. You're like dodging things. So part of it is getting the road repaved. And then another major disruption that we just have to have an honest conversation about is the disruption of retail. And I think Elyria is at an advantage right now because we've already lived through our retail heyday with Midway Mall. We kind of already lived that experience. But right now, retail is being disrupted at a rate. The shirt I have on right now came from Amazon. 5 years ago or 10 years ago, it would have been Macy's at the mall where I would have been, but this shirt came to me. And that's just a new reality. So, you know, that's one of the reasons why we're excited about the discussions we're in with the Cleveland Clinic. Dr. Stark, if you can wave your hand. That's why we're excited about the conversations with them to convert that mall from retail into health and wellness and into light industrial smart manufacturing. And I think it's going to be one of the biggest transformational projects that this city has ever seen. Because, again, we have a chance to have a head start on the retail. So back to Cleveland Street, I think we need to move it away from so much retail, more quality of life experiences. There's some spaces there that have been neglected for a long time. I would love to work with the Port Authority to get cleaned up so that other life can be birthed there. But I think we are in a unique position as a city of Elyria. We don't have to compete with these, and I love my buddies in other communities, but you know, they've built these huge retail infrastructure. They built malls, yep. And we've already lived through that. And my thing is that when this thing really hits its tipping point, they're going to have this large infrastructure trying to figure out how to reuse it. If we can get a head start right now, we can beat them to the punch.
And when you say road diet, you mean taking that 4 lanes down to 3 and having a turn lane in there.
Exactly.
Is the roundabout still coming?
On Cleveland Street. That's still in the plans.
That's NOACA, right?
Yep, that's still in the plans.
Okay. And we have time for one more question. Anyone?
Well, again, I thank y'all for joining. Stay connected to us. I'm going to stick around. Yep. We're going to play this corny Metaverse video I made because I really want to show y'all how we did this cool thing in the Metaverse earlier. So we're going to play that, but please stick around, network, share cards with each other. Make sure you connect with our staff. We got to do this together. If this is just a show of watching me, I think I've shown y'all what I'm capable of. I'm confident what I'm capable of. But also, I hope you see the limitations of what we're capable of by ourselves. So we need you all as partners. Put aside the politics, the Republican stuff that's going on, leave that stuff out of here. I'll tell all of you that. Leave it out of here. And let's get some work done on behalf of the city of Elyria. So thank you. Yep, thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you. Right, so good morning and welcome to the State of the City Address. I'm Mayor Frank Whitfield, and today I'm talking to you from the Metaverse. I'm going to be presenting to you all some really cool things about Midway Mall and downtown today. But again, we wanted to just kind of push the envelope and show the future that we're heading into. And so buckle up. I'm going to be doing this presentation from the Metaverse. And I'll show you around a little bit. Let me do some tour, give you a little tour of my space here. So here's some pictures on the wall here. I got a little mirror over here that I'll be presenting from. So you'll see that in a minute. And yeah, this is courtesy of NOPEC sponsorship, allowing us to really push the envelope this year with our State of the City Address. So let's get into it. I'm going to sit this selfie stick down, okay? All right, and get over here. And so I'm going to be speaking from this presentation here, so draw your attention here. And we're really talking about transformation of the city and how we think we're going to be able to get there through this once-in-a-generation opportunity we have by utilizing the American Rescue Plan funds, this once-in-a-generation opportunity we have. So there's multiple categories with the ARPA funds. One of them is lost revenue. And that category is the most flexible category where you can utilize those funds to provide any sort of general government service. And we know with the loss of Bendix that we are already facing some financial projections that were difficult. So we have a plan to make sure that's addressed, avoid layoffs, and also be able to invest in some of our city services. So here's a snapshot of how we see these funds should be utilized. Again, we believe we're eligible right now in the year 2022 to use $10.5 million of those dollars for general services through lost revenue. So our recommendation, and which we'll be presenting to City Council, will be $6 million of those dollars going to our basic city services. This gives us at least 3 years of dealing with the loss of Bendix and gives us time to rebound without having to worry about any sort of layoffs. Next, we have Parks and Recreation. So one of the things we heard loud and clear from our community is they wanted to see more investment in our parks. So this not only this 1.5 mil would go toward rehabbing the Oakwood Elementary School into the Intergenerational Community Center, which we'll talk about later, but also it'll allow for us to increase our staffing to be able to continue to expand our program offerings. Next, we've heard loud and clear that there's, one of the services our residents really appreciate is our sanitation services. However, in order to maintain that, we either need to increase rates or have some sort of influx of capital into that fund. So our recommendation is to strengthen that fund by investing $1 million in that fund over the next 3 years. And lastly, our capital expenses. We've already allocated about $900,000 towards various capital expenditures, including a fire truck, a new plow truck, and some municipal court capital expenditures as well. And that still leaves us a remaining balance of $1 million that we still have the ability to allocate. And also we can hold to the side to see how things pan out. As you know, in this ever-changing world, we may need that. The next category is this ARPA restricted fund. So through the U.S. Treasury, they've given us a lot of guidance around the restricted uses of these funds outside of lost revenue. So, it's a multi-100-page document. It's worth reading because you can really get familiar. There's a lot of flexibility and a lot of creative things that you can do with with the restricted portion of the ARPA. And we have some recommendations on how to initially utilize those funds. So our first piece we've already done, which is we've put $1 million into essential services, and that's for our nonprofit organizations who are serving our Elyria residents to support them. We've also set aside already $1 million to support small businesses that were negatively impacted by the pandemic, which again, these two things are in process now. And our recommendation moving forward, and you'll hear more about this in a little bit, with the transition with Midway Mall, we're going to be working with supporting those businesses to help them relocate. We think downtown is a good first step for encouraging people to relocate. So we'll be recommending a program for downtown business development, and this is eligible because of its qualified census tract, and I'll get into that later as well. For startup cost, expansion cost, business renovation or building renovation. There's so many options when you're in a qualified census tract, so we'll be recommending that. Also, one of our Councilman Oswald, had recommended about 1.5 years ago about doing some sort of home beautification, the same way we support downtown businesses with their facades, to support our residents in some sort of matching grant capacity to help them with their with upgrading their homes. So we want to help our residents in some sort of matching grant program where we will match an investment up to a certain dollar amount on people to improve the facade and exterior of their homes. And then we still have 3.5 unallocated, and we want this to be ready so we can prepare to invest in work that's needed. So as things develop, as things change, as we engage with our residents, as needs arise through all these transitions, we want to have that money set aside that we can actively start to utilize to invest in initiatives that transform Elyria. And even with all of that, there's still over $2 million that hasn't been allocated. So again, we don't believe in spending everything we got, so we believe that let's not sit on it. The money is there to invest and make a difference, but let's not let's not spend everything that we have. Let's make sure we're putting aside some just in case there's some sort of delta market changes, a cost rise as we see here that's happening now. So we believe in that as well. Next, I wanted to talk about some of the digital transformation efforts that we have going in the city right now. The first one being around traffic. And so we've done some work already on investing in our signaling in the city, where we are going to be having more smart technology, so you won't be idling and sitting at lights where there's no traffic anywhere else. We'll make sure that that's in process, and that's, again, thanks to a grant from NOPEC. We'll also be installing some electric charging stations as well. We also are currently in the process of converting our cemetery records to be digital, as well as providing a GIS mapping software so that if you want to visit your loved ones at the cemetery, you don't have to guess and wonder and try to remember where they're at. Through this technology, you'll be able to much more easily identify where they are, and that's an exciting project that we're doing in partnership with Job and Family Services. We also spent time last year listening to our business community, and we were fortunate to have a fellow from Harvard. There he is there. And we had some time where we spent with our businesses talking about what challenges have they had with doing business in Elyria. And some of the feedback we heard was around permitting. Announcing today, we will actually have an electronic permitting process. So that I'm excited about that. Our zoning map is already available online. That was a big accomplishment for us. And we started to conduct virtual inspections during the pandemic. So that's another way our team is really embracing technology, and hopefully we continue to. Other digital initiatives include the literacy training that you saw in the video that we've been doing in partnership with Technique, Goodwill, and Windstream. We've been doing civic engagement through hackathon and virtual town halls. And here's a picture of Bart doing his selfie thing with a group of our students here in Elyria. I'm really proud of this work because we converted the Goodwill store into a computer training center, which that was very intentional. We wanted it to be visible so people would know what things are. Sometimes you see a flyer but don't know what it is. So we wanted to make sure people could visibly see what we were up to and have an opportunity to sign up easily right through the Goodwill store. And those trainings are still available as well. Other accomplishments, we finalized the active transportation plan with Lorain County Health Department. So we'll continue to develop more biking trails, walking trails, and continue to encourage people to get out and enjoy the city and make it easier to get around outside of using a car. So there's some elephants in Elyria. And as I mentioned before, as I talked about the pictures on the wall over there, the big elephants are downtown and Midway Mall. So downtown, we know our challenge is we have these historic buildings that have had years of neglect, and there's a lack of site control. There's a number of various owners, and then, of course, as mentioned earlier, we faced one of the most devastating fires our city has ever faced last year, and but we made a commitment that together we would rebuild downtown. And so you've heard the announcement around the Mr. Flanagan and the development that's happening in partnership with him, and we're super excited about it. It includes this housing development on the old Mussey building site, and remember we provided a demolition grant to help tear that down, but the reason why was to build something like this. So it's this embracing of the future and the past, but still recognizing and honoring that past while moving towards the future. And I don't think there's any more that could be future oriented than the other part of this development, which is the esports arena. And this is going to be transformational, bringing people from all around the country, all around the region to compete in cybersports and esports competitions right here in Elyria. Part of our vision is really to make downtown more family friendly and focused on quality of life. And we're going to do that by partnering with our newly formed Community Development Corporation. They should be here. They have a table here today. Encourage you to get involved with them. But they're going to be activating downtown, helping to make place downtown, and helping to develop the businesses downtown. Now, I mentioned earlier that part of the ARPA restricted funds provide for a whole host of different options, but one area where there's a lot of flexibility is if you're investing ARPA funds in qualified census tracts. And our city's qualified census tract spans from downtown through the south side of town as well as the southwestern part of town. So we want to stand up some programs that really target the development of these areas, and that can be in the form of loans and grants for startup businesses. So you'll see more of that to come. The other big elephant is Midway Mall, and as you may have read in the paper today, we've been dealing with this problem. I grew up going to this mall, as many Elyrians have, but through years of retail changing and decay there, it is time for us to enter a new journey. in terms of Midway Mall. And our recommendation is to transform this space, what I've been calling the Hawaii Project, transform it into a health and wellness and industrial innovation park that will have medical, health and wellness, and light industrial, i.e. smart manufacturing tenants. So as opposed to having many small residential, many small retails, we want to transform this to less than 10 major tenants that are in the medical space or in the light industrial smart manufacturing space. This is somewhat of a breakdown of the different square footage that's available. So, there's over 700,000 square feet available. So we want the market to know Elyria is open for business, and we want you to come here and be a part of this transformation. In order to make this happen, the city's going to need to put some skin in the game. So we'll be pursuing $4.5 million TIF that will be backed by the city and God willing will be approved by City Council and the Elyria School Board of Education, and we'll use those TIF proceeds to pay ourselves back for issuing the bond. The commitment that we have for our developer is to see investment of over $20 million over the next 5 years. And we're in discussions with the Cleveland Clinic to be our first major anchor tenant. And here's kind of the pitch that we shared with the clinic. So here's some visuals of how the mall will look. So again, a lot more clean, pristine on the exterior of the building. We're excited to work with Industrial Commercial Properties, who's done these sort of conversions in other communities like Brooklyn, Ohio, and other places around Northeast Ohio. Again, adding that greenery, extending the entrance, just providing for a more pedestrian-friendly experience. And, our pitch to the clinic was showing them how they could be just an exciting partner and help be a part of this transformation. And we're excited about where those conversations are, and hopefully we'll continue to progress. Here's another shot of what it could potentially look like there. Part of our vision and our initial pitch to the clinic was transforming this into a big health and wellness facility. We heard loud and clear from our residents that they wanted indoor aquatics and indoor facility to be able to work out. We lost the one major one we had downtown. And again, this was kind of an opportunity to bring all those pieces together. So we're still in exploration conversations on that. And another big initiative of ours has just been continue to focus on transforming culture and community, continue to push the envelope. So we're going to continue to with the active transportation plan and continue to develop that, promoting and development of Ely Life, this idea of promoting the quality of life experiences and opportunities in the city of Elyria. The Oakwood Elementary School that we acquired from the schools, which is on our West Park. Our goal is to transform that into a community center, an intergenerational community center with Save Our Children being there, as well as senior programming there. The Elyria Black History Project, we saw in the wake of George Floyd this desire to do something about it and make sure that we are more aware and conscious of the experiences of people whose voices may not be heard. So the Elyria Black History Project, we're working with some videographers to create a documentary on the history of African Americans in the city of Elyria. And last but not least, the South Elyria Pocket Park. So we're going to be transforming a historic corner in the city of Elyria into a nice park for our residents to enjoy. So I'll leave you with this quote, and because I feel like this was very relevant. I feel like we're in a moment in history as we see globally, as well as nationally, as well as locally. We're in this unique moment, and I want us all to be conscious of how history will judge us, of how we treat at this moment. And I got this quote from Robert Kennedy. It says, "History will judge you, and as the years pass, you will ultimately judge yourself. In the extent to which you have used your gifts and talents to lighten and enrich the lives of your fellow men. In your hand lies the future of your world and the fulfillment of the best qualities of your own spirit. So may we use our gifts and talents to lighten the burden on one another and enrich the lives of one another, and let us move forward together. As we've always said, we're not intimidated by our challenges, we're inspired by them. So thank you.